All the action from the 2010 Emerald Ice Block is proudly brought to you by the Emerald Resort and Casino, Red Square and Century Electrical. Welcome to the banks of the Vaal River for the annual running of the Emerald Ice Block. It's the biggest gathering of watercraft in South Africa, organised by the Zodiac Inflatable Boat Club. 4 classes gathering for some serious racing action. And with some big horsepower behind them, the hard bottoms would be the fastest on the day. Last year, Anton Brits finished in the top 5 in his class. This year, he's taking part in the U class and he's happy to see some good competition.
Ek is seker as ek kyk na die hoeveelheid bote wat hier ingekom het, gaan ons definitief kyk na 'n rekord aantal mense wat op die water is vandag. Ons sal nie weet wat jy op die water is nie, né? Maar ons het alles gedoen wat ons kan, so nou is dit maar net vashou en vlei ry.
Former F1 driver Rian Becker is no stranger to the Vaal.
Well, look, I've still got Ati Tromp is still there, and you know, this race is anybody enters, so anything can happen. But it's, like I say, let the flag drop so that bullshit stops. Look, it's going to be choppy and rough because of all the boats. But I think it's going to be what you got in your bum as to your achievements. Because I don't think it's really top end. It's going to be how you manipulate the rough waters.
With 2 boats running in the hard bottoms, Becker needs someone special to look after the boats. And there's no one better than former F1 pilot Patrick Lees.
No, I'm working on a whole bunch of boats, and I've dedicated my time to the drivers that I've got running in the different classes, and I think it's going to be a very good day, you know, for all the turnout and all the boats that we've got here, and jet skis. I think it's going to be a record again of how many boats they're going to have on the ice block.
Jet skis form a big part of the entry field for this year's ice block, and last year's champ and winner of the jet ski division in the ice block was Jared Moore. This time he's competing on a much smaller machine.
Oh well, we're not running the carry today. We've got the new 1800 Yamaha. So much power. We're going to try to give this one a bash, and I think we're going to do well. There's a lot of yummies riding today, and they're fast, but we are planning on just waiting for them to break, and we're going to pass them. We haven't raced this year. We're going to Thailand at the end of the year. We went last year. I was coming 3rd and then the ski broke. So we're going to go. We're preparing a bit better this year. We're going to go back and try to do the same at the King's Cup in Thailand.
For the inflatables, the ice block forms part of their national calendar. It's also the last race for the season. Carl Carby is a standard class champion for the year. We asked him about his fueling strategy.
Then I overcompensate or fuel quite heavily. I work about 2 k's to a litre to be safe. I think you can work about 2.5 k's, sometimes 3 k's. But yeah, the fuel makes a big difference because we're running much heavier. We run about 30-litre tank, so it's 30 kilos heavier than normal. So it's a big difference. You know, you're slower on speed and slower on pull away.
For Bongani Ndesi and Siyabonga Nkumbi, it was history in the making. They were the first development team to take part in a national event.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of competition. You got Barry Marks, that's faster, and Roy Ball and them. More experienced guys than me, but for the first time I think I'll be take advantage, and maybe I'll like 2nd or 3rd or 1st, hopefully something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's enjoying and it's a dream come true. And I believe that we're going to win today and make history as we're going to do. And to being with Bonds, it's like a dream because we plan to be together, and now we are. And thanks to Lionel, this is the one who managed to get us together in the ball.
Former national driver Roy Ball travelled all the way from Cape Town to take part in the ice block.
I think the ice block is such a event. It's one of those events you don't want to miss. You know, it's very family orientated. You know, you see all the hard bottom boats, all the guys are riding with their wives and their girlfriends, and it's really great to see. You know, that it really shows that the sport is really for everybody. Yeah, and you know what? I'm coming towards the end of my racing career. You know, and I just want to do the stuff I really enjoy now, and it's great to start doing it with my family. You know, not being competitive anymore. And I think that's really what it boils down to.
Various of our radio and television celebrities turn out to support the ice block every year. We caught up with Hawk van Blerk and asked them about the competition on the water.
Ek gaan wen. Dit is dit. Nee, ek wil graag goed doen. Ek wil graag defend. But I'm very competitive, so I would like to win this race.
A lot of boats had to be launched before the action could get on the way. One of the celebrity boats hitting the water. Last year's winner in the F1 class, Ati Trom, man who took the honours in the hard bottom class, getting his boat on the water. As we catch Lionel Ball doing some final tuning to Bongani and Desi's X35 Modified, will be hitting the water in the inflatable class as well. Last year, the Emerald Ice Block set a record for the biggest amount of watercraft taking part in a water sport event in South Africa, with over 100 craft on the water. This year, they wouldn't break that record, but still 92 watercraft turning out for some great action. PROPSA, the official water sport governing body in South Africa, taking all the drivers through their paces, ensuring everybody knows what will be happening on the day. And then it was time to get the action on the way. Inflatable class would be the first to depart on their journey up the Vaal River. Huge field of inflatable boats getting on the way as we go on board with Carl Colby and Ross Templeman, the standard class. The Conti Crete boat heading off the line. And both the national and provincial drivers would be competing for honours in this class on the day. So we'll have to wait and see who comes out on top. Keep in mind there are 3 classes in the inflatables on the water. It's the standards, the blueprints and the modified, as we go on board with Barry Marks and Yolandi van Dijk in the Century Electrical Thundercat, one of the favourites to win in the modified class. Of course, Barry Marks is this year's modified champion in the inflatable national series. It's going to be interesting to see how he fends off the charge coming from Jaco Steyn and Neil Nell. They are very skilled flatwater drivers as well. Back at the starting line, it was time for the hard bottoms to get on the way. A great start there by Rian Becker in his Prinfex rollers boat. Keep in mind, this is one of the H1 class boats. He'll be competing against Ati Trom, and a great view looking back on his boat to the rest of the field. Becker just to the left of the screen there as he goes out of shot. The yellow boat in the middle, that's Ati Trom. I think it's going to be a big fight up front between the H1 class drivers to see who's going to come out on top. And for the rest of the field, there'll be some real tough competition as well. The jet skis would depart next, but the ones everyone came to see was the celebrity boats. And as I said, Bob van Blerk out there competing for honours today against numerous other celebrities. It's going to be interesting to see how this one turns out. They do a slightly shorter version of the course. I think only 2 laps for the celebrities, but they have a lot of fun on the water. This year in the H1 Mod 250 Plus class, 7 boats competing, but at the front it was no surprise as Ati Trom Jr. and Christo Janse van Vieren, the winners in the H1 class last year, up to defend that title. In second place in the H1 class, it was Rian Becker and Johan Matthews in the Prinfex Rollers boat, and a great shot as we look back as they go past that start-finish line. You can see how smooth that boat travels on the water. So well set up, of course. Becker, an old F1 hand, he knows just how to handle a boat and to trim it out for optimum performance. Third place in the H1 class was Labish Labiskaghi and JP Smith in their Mercury Makita boat, really about 2 minutes behind. So you can see the kind of pace that Tromp is putting on at the front of the pack as he goes around that far turn buoy. That's at the bottom of the bridge on the Vaal River. And now he's going to make his way, entering into his second lap, as the rest of the field have got to play catch-up. The jet skis achieved some great speeds on the water on the day as well, in excess of 120 kilometers per hour. Jared Moore coming by, leading the way in his 1800 Yamaha Wave Runner, but that lead would be put under pressure because he would have to come in for a fuel stop pretty soon. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the jet ski class. In the H1s in third place, Lapis Labiskaghi and JP Smith holding on to that third place at the moment, a little bit off the pace as we catch one of the H3 boats coming by. That's Andre van Helsdingen and Leon van Helsdingen in their entry. It's one of the sensation boats on the water for the day. Currently lying in third place in the H3 Standard 200 class, being pursued by boat number 69. These guys, Petrus Whiteman and John Duncan. So not a lot between these boats, only about 30 seconds on the water after the first lap. So there's going to be a big fight happening in the H3 class. In the inflatable modified class, it was Mark Arons that led the way on the first lap. He was being pursued by a very fast Barry Marks in his Century Electrical Thundercat. Marks and Van Dijk now going around that bottom turn buoy. Arons just ahead of him, Marks would catch him. There he goes past him. You can see Orange just to the right-hand side. Marks goes through to take the lead in the modified class for the inflatables. In the inflatable standard class, it was the two Butler brothers, Gordon and Donovan, leading the way over Isley Berry and Monica Fischer. In third place, guys from Cape Town, Willem Strydom and Willem van Tonder, the stainless deck boat, doing well to hang on to that third place just ahead of Kyle Colby and Ross Templeman, who would be in fourth place at the moment. This is the current standard class champion for 2010 as they head into their second lap, going on board with the Dio, doing just on 90 odd kilometers per hour. Got to keep your eyes open. You can see the co-driver there looking around to make sure they got clear water ahead of them. Got to be aware of the traffic around you. Don't want to be caught in a difficult situation. Jared Moore coming through for that refuel with his jet ski. Got to take on some fuel. And many of the other craft will be coming in for their fuel stops as well. It's Merva van der Merwe and Fani Norkier coming by in their H2. Currently fourth place for them. They would DNF on the day, as would many of the other contestants in the other classes as well. Some of the classes completely being wiped out by DNFs and sunken boats. Helicopter footage brought to us courtesy of Emerald Sun Casino and the Zodiac Inflatable Boat Club. That's exactly what we're talking about. A lot of the boats going down and actually sinking on the course, and that would be a rather treacherous thing for the boats travelling at high speed. Co-drivers having to stay on the lookout for those sinking boats. This is Martin van der Greep and Ryan Becker, the second of the Prinflex Rollers boats, being looked after by Patrick Lees for Rian Becker, as Roy Ball and his wife Bernadine comes by, lying in fifth place in the provincial modified class. Another man from Cape Town, it's Henny de Bort and his wife Erica, coming by on the Robertson Abattoir boat. De Bort's an old-handed inflatable boat. He takes part in the Transatlantic and the Transagullis every year. So we're really good to see the guys from Cape Town coming up to support the Ice Block event. Out on the water, some of the celebrity boats coming by. This is Kyle Colby and Ross Templeman, fourth place. They're holding on to that fourth place in the standard class. And watch Ross Templeman as he looks around to spot where those faster boats are. He's got to be so aware of the traffic on the water. Yellow flag is out. That means danger on the water as we catch Adrian Pretorius and Marika Storm having trouble refueling there. Many of the inflatables now coming in to refuel. That's Roy Ball taking on some fuel as well. Only 30 litres on board maximum for an inflatable at any given time. Second place, provincial modified boat coming through, Bongani and Desi and Siabonga Nkumbi taking on some fuel in the X35 boat. They're making history today. They're the first development team to take part at national events. So well done to those two. Looking forward to a great inflatable future. Of course, Bongani and Desi having come through the ranks as a co-driver with Lionel Ball. Now good to see him power his own craft on the water. As we pick up a great tracking shot in the helicopter of one of the jet ski riders going by. Great contingent of jet skis turning out for the ice block this year. In the H5 class, it was JP de Wit and Jenny Eloff coming by. First place for them in the H5 class at the moment. They're being chased by Domingo Duarte and Pete Leroux, just on 4 minutes off the pace. So if de Wit can stay out of trouble and not break down, they could have a win in their hands for their class. Further back in the H4 is third place for Quivers and Adele Fulune, another husband and wife Dio in the hard bottom class, doing really well to stick just behind Francois Heinz and Hendrik Porgito, who were holding on to second place. Lapis Skachny and JP Smith, look at that Mercury motor, a 2.5, just performing so well. By the way, that's a similar type motor that they run with in the Formula 1 class. And that boat just set up so well. Another boat out on the water in trouble. And it looks like they're dropping like flies here in the hard bottom class. Ati Trump stayed out of trouble though. Flying by, look at him going past that jet ski. I mean, you can see the speed that this man is managing to get out of this boat on the flat water. And their nearest rivals just on 3 minutes back, Rian Becker and Johan Matthews, the Prinflex Rollers boat, not quite having the pace. Becker doesn't give up though. That boat will come off the water and he'll get Patrick Lees to rebuild that entire motor. Lees, one of the best in the industry when it comes to engineering marine motors. So expect that gap to get smaller as Lees gets more power out of that Mercury. More trouble for the hard bottoms. Boats falling by the wayside and the entire U-class wiped out. Anton Brits and Anthony Fourie must be really disappointed. They're out of the running as well. This is for Main and Beatrix de Kock in the Yamaha modified class on the water, and a beautiful shot as these boats reach speeds of just on 110 kilometers per hour. Another one of the provincial modifieds taking part. It's the Wavelength engineering boat of Leon Kruger and Tiaan Janssen van Rensburg, third place for them, as we catch Tertius Portma and Monique Lecrancy, sixth place for them, and the Kolani transport boat riding in the standard provincial class. In the PH Plant Hire Blueprints, Jean Schutter and Zel Janssen van Vieren, the IEC engineering boat, coming by in second place, just behind Rocker Erasmus and Yvette Lecrancy. But trouble would see them with a DNF on the day. That's not the way to get to the line. I think Jean could be very unhappy with that finish. Rian van Helsting and Antoine Geldenes coming through in the H4 class. They're leading that class at the moment. He's been trying so hard over the last couple of years to finish at the top of his class, always coming second. And this might just be his year if he can stay out of trouble. I think Van Helsting will take the H4 class over Francois Haynes. Many of the hard bottoms now going into their final lap. And also keep in mind that the hard bottoms do not refuel on the ice block. They complete the entire 130 kilometers on one tank of fuel. You saw that shot there of Van Helsting going by the finish line in the H4 class. A very close competition. 15 seconds separating the top three boats. Gubers Viljoen and his wife Adele still holding on to that third place. So a real tight battle going on at the front of that H4 class. Ivan Tablanche and Yuri Spies couldn't be very happy with their sixth place overall. They've had a very well prepared boat taking part in the H3 class, but not quite being able to stick with the pace of the rest of the field. Ian Hurman and Glenn Wilmot leading the H3 class, with Chad Kruger and Eben van der Bank in second place. The inflatable Yamaha modifieds, it is still Barry Marks and Yolandi van Dijk with now a lead of over 6 minutes over Jaco Steyn and Neil Nel. Marks clearly in a class of his own. So we go on board with the Deer as they head down towards that bottom turn. Boy, Marks glancing back, but there's no one in sight. As we cross to our Emerald Sun helicopter, a rare shot of Rocker Erasmus and Yvette Lecrancy in the Blueprint class, the PH Plant Hire Blueprint class. He's from Cape Town as well and has taken part in the entire national series this year, finishing second just behind Jean Schutter and Ansel Janssen van Vieren. As we track the boats heading down the Vaal, look at the boat at the bottom here. That's Bongani and Desi and Siyabonga and Kumbi, the X35 boat. Second place behind Tony Marinas and Denise Marinas in the modified provincial class. The duo doing really well and once again rewriting history books right here at the 2010 Ice Block. The PH Plant Hire Aquarius of Hilton Otto and Rudy van Wyk lying in third place in the PH Plant Hire Blueprint class. They will be disqualified after not wearing their helmets on the slipway. Rules are pretty clear in inflatable boat racing. Got to keep the helmet on. When you launch the boat on the slipway, your helmet's got to be on the boat. And PSA being very strict when enforcing these rules. In the celebrity class, Bob van Blaat would not get his win though, but I'm sure all the celebs had a lot of fun on the day in the ice block. Ian Hurman and Glenn Wilmot had great reason to celebrate in the McChrystal Insurance H3 boat, lying in first place in the H3 class at the moment. Chad Kruger and Eben van der Bank being just behind them. It was a 3.5 minute lead for Chase van der Merwe and Sean Kruger, leading the H2 class in their Casey Steele's boat over Garth Smithgrim and Sean Twiggs. And two boats in the H2 class not making it to the finish line, both Merwe van der Merwe and Fani Norkia and Michael Vessels and Mark Nell falling off the pace and not finishing. There was a big battle going on in the Red Square Standard inflatable class between Carl Colby and Willem Strydom. Strydom only having a 2-minute lead over Colby, and I think Colby knows if anything goes wrong for Strydom on a refuel, he could have him. Third place for Lapis Labiskafni and JP Smith in the H1 modified class. By the way, only 3 boats would finish in that class. Over 7 started. 4 of them falling by the wayside, with Ati Tromp Jr. leading the way. In the Evinrude H2 class, it was Chase van der Merwe and Sean Fenter with a commanding 5-minute lead over Garth Smithgrim and Sean Twiggs. So it looks like Chase van der Merwe having the H2 class almost sewn up as we catch Lapis Labiskafni going around one of the jet skis out on the course. Third place for Andre Weiermans and Wynand Hoffman, over 20 minutes behind the winners in the H5 class, JP de Wit and Jenny Eloff leading the way. In the H1 modifieds, Lapis Kachni and JP Smith would take third place. A great finish from them. Over 7 minutes behind, Ati Tromp Jr. and Christu Janse van Vieren. And once again, Tromp showing his dominance in the H1 class. Rian Becker, his nearest rival, just on 5 minutes behind him. But Tromp very happy with his finish.
Ja, nee, het is een goede competitie gehad. Ik denk meeste van ons het hard gewerkt om allemaal voor te komen. En ja, die water was rof. So, ons het daarom weer gedrukt maar ik kan uitgekomen. Ja, nee, het lijkt baie goed. Dus elke jaar is al meer bote, meer belangstelling. So hopelijk lok die ijsblok die ouens. En ja, als het lekker lok, beter.
In second place in the H1 class, Rian Becker and the Printfix Rollers boat. A great onboard shot. You can see that boat floating around on the water and bouncing around. He claimed second place. He'll be going back to the drawing board to improve on his speed. And he is catching Tromp slowly but surely. I think it's just going to be a matter of time. A great finish for JP de Wit and Jenny Eloff on the H5 class, coming through to claim a win over Domingo Duarte and Pete Leroux as well. And they can be really happy with that finish. A lead of just on 6 minutes for them in the H5 class. Anton Fourie and Michael Fourie claiming third place in the H2 standard 225s. Not quite where they wanted to end up, but they're on the podium and they'll be looking to improve on this result for the rest of the hard bottom season. The celebs had a lot of fun on the day, and the win in the end would go to Hannes Brummer, coming through to take the first place in that class. Last year he did quite well as well. And unfortunately, Bok van Berg not coming through to take that win that he so desperately wanted. I think Brummer really happy with that finish, claiming first place. Rian van Helsdingen was very happy with his win. After trying for 2 years, he finally took the honours in the H4 class with Twane Geldenhuys.
Ek is 'n baie trotse man. Ek het 'n paar jaar tweede en tweede voel vir my soos 'n verloor. Ek wil wen. En dit was net vandag was die dag wat ek hard voor gewerk het om te wen. Ek het 'n ligte co-pilot gekry Twane en moet by mekaar skrap en dit was baie rof en ons het hard gery om te wen en dit was gemaklik.
A elated Rian van Helsdingen together with Twane Geldenhuys claiming the win in the H4 class. In the Yamaha modified inflatable class, Barry Marks and Yolandi van Dijk took the honours.
Yeah, look, we had a lot of work on the motor and stuff to do, and we did a lot of preparation for this race especially. I wasn't too confident when we walked into it, but in the middle of the race or around the runabout there when we got in front, the other guys just seemed to back off a little bit or just fall back a little bit, so I'm happy with that.
Just on 26 inflatables coming out to ride the ice block this year. In the provincial standard class, Francois Marais and Yvette King grabbed the honours with a really good ride over Johan Kloosterziel and Jolene Labushkachny. While in the national series, it was the Elgazay Thundercat of Gordon and Donovan Butler that came through to take the win once again. The King of Flatwater claiming another victory in his own backyard. Not the way to get to the finish line, but for some of the celebs it was hard work out on the water. We spoke to Kaya Hanjo, the head of PSA South Africa, about the event.
I think look, it was a wonderful event, no doubt about that. Great turnover, so many boats in the water. Powerboat South Africa is very pleased with everything that happened today.
With an event like the Ice Block, you have to have good medical support, and a big thank you to Selko Badenhorst and the team from Vereniging Mediclinic who set up an entire trauma centre at the Vaal. Also big thanks to ER24, they were the emergency response team on hand on the day, and a great job. Luckily no serious injuries, only a couple of bumps and bruises and a few stiff necks to deal with. Let's have a look at those oval results then for the 2010 Ice Block. The U-Class, no one completed. All DNFs in the U-Class. Anton Brits not very happy with that. In the H1 class, Ati Tromp taking a win over Rian Becker in the H1 modifieds. Chase van der Merwe and Sean Venter took the H2 class, while Ian Hoeman and Glenn Wilmot walking away with honours in the H3 standard class. It was a well-deserved win for Rian van Helsdingen. After trying for 2 years, he finally took the H4 class. JP de Wit and Jenny Eloff took the honours in H5 standards. In the inflatables, Gordon and Donovan Butler grabbing the standard class. The blueprints belonging to Rocky Erasmus and Yvette Lachranzi, and the modified class going to Barry Marks and Yolandi van Dijk. Every year the Ice Block is organised by the Zodiac Inflatable Boat Club. We spoke to Barry Marks about the event and the turnout on the day.
Ja, kyk hier so is lekker om al die bote bymekaar te hê, groot bote, klein bote, jetskies. Dit wys dat ons kan saamwerk as ons regtig wil. Die toekoms lê blink. Turnout die vandag nou nie heeltemal wat ek wou gehad het nie, wil die rekord gebreek het. Ek dink ons was 92 entries. Laas jaar was ons 102, maar sal aan werk om volgende jaar weer die rekord te probeer breek. Die mense hier werk lekker saam, Emerald Casino, Red Square, twee grootste borge, en dan al die ouens wat bygekom het, Evenroot, Suzuki, Mercury, Yamaha, PH, Century, maar nou is baie, as ek nou iemand uitgelaat het, ek kan nou nie uit die face het allemaal onthou nie, maar thanks aan hulle en allemaal, dit beteken regtig baie dat hulle ons support.
That brings us to an end of the coverage of the 2010 Emerald Ice Block. We hope you enjoyed the coverage. Till we meet you again at the same event next year, you stay safe on the water. All of the action from the 2010 Emerald Ice Block was proudly brought to you by the Emerald Resort and Casino.